Welcome back. Okay, let's dive right into this textual blueprint. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We're deconstructing a really fascinating piece of source material, a creative script designed to construct the ultimate FIFA World Cup montage. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how a purely written document translates into a globally unifying cinematic sports experience. We'll be looking at the specific directions, the visual cues, and the audio layers the text actually demands, just to see how it completely manipulates our senses and emotions. It's like a giant puzzle, and we're putting it together. And you know what? The script wastes absolutely no time. It plunges us straight into the electric atmosphere. Imagine a dramatic aerial shot of a packed stadium under floodlights. We're instantly hit with the sheer, massive scale of the event. But it's not just about the concrete and the grass, right? It's about the people. The text specifically calls for roaring crowds waving flags from literally every single nation. Right out of the gate, this opening hook establishes that we aren't just looking at a local match. This is a massive, unified, global phenomenon happening under the brightest lights you can possibly imagine. Which brings us to part one, the epic montage blueprint. Let's look at the high-level aesthetic rules that build the foundation of this whole thing. Defining this required visual style is absolutely crucial. Honestly, the source material treats this like a strict formula that the director has to follow. It specifically demands the look of a Hollywood sports documentary crossed with a flashy FIFA promotional trailer. So what does that actually mean technically? Well, the text lays it out clear as day. Ultra-realistic 4K resolution, high contrast, and a super cinematic depth of field. Basically, this is how you elevate standard broadcast footage into an epic atmosphere. It's a completely deliberate instruction to craft a larger-than-life, intensely cinematic experience instead of just slapping together a simple highlight reel. Moving right along to part two. Action and human emotion. Now we're transitioning into the absolute core of the storytelling, connecting diverse footballers from totally different eras directly with the raw, unfiltered emotion of the fans. To pull that off, the script dictates a really specific rhythm of dynamic cuts. These key scenes have to hit you with punchy, relentless energy. I mean, we're talking about fans painting their faces, instantly cutting to a last-minute winning final goal, cutting to an impossible goalie save, jumping right into an emotional trophy lift, bursting with fireworks, and then zooming all the way out to global street celebrations. It is literally a rapid-fire checklist of the most intense peaks of human experience you can find in sports, totally designed to just overwhelm you with sheer passion. But what's truly brilliant here is how we can group these explicitly written scenes into a mini-narrative. The text actually structures a direct emotional cause and effect. Think of it like this. Step one is the cause, that breathtaking last-minute winner or legendary goal. Step two is the immediate reaction. The script specifically calls for children watching their heroes in complete awe and those raw emotional tears of victory and defeat. And then, step three is the ripple effect. The text zooms out from the stadium to show those global celebrations happening in streets across completely different countries. It is a total masterclass in written pacing. It perfectly maps out how a single kick of a football can literally echo around the entire world. All right, let's look at part three, the cinematic visual rules. This is where we see how the script dictates specific visual mechanics and camera techniques to actively manipulate your pulse. This section brilliantly illustrates the contrast and pacing that the text requires. On one hand, the script demands relentless, fast-paced action. Picture players sprinting aggressively across the pitch, the sudden, explosive acrobatics of breathtaking bicycle kicks, the high-speed anxiety of penalty shootout drama, and the frantic blur of those last-minute winners. But then, the script deliberately forces the director to pull back. It asks for a slow, mesmerizing descent of confetti explosions. It lingers on a spinning football in the air, and those emotional tears of victory or defeat. This calculated contrast between extreme frantic speed and suspended time, that is exactly what makes the visual formula so unbelievably powerful. Finally, we arrive at part four, sound, text, and impact. Let's explore the final polish, breaking down the auditory and textual elements the source material uses to elevate all this footage into a truly epic narrative. Because let's be real, you can't have an epic atmosphere without massive sound design, and the script is incredibly specific here. It doesn't just want some background track thrown in, it explicitly states that the action must be synchronized to build intensity scene by scene. The textual blueprint calls for this huge, multi-layered auditory experience. We're talking an epic orchestral soundtrack to provide the sweeping emotion, mixed with modern cinematic percussion to drive the pulse of the edits. And all of that is layered underneath roaring crowd chants and authentic stadium atmosphere. The audio is quite literally designed to physically move you just as much as the visuals do. Then, amidst all those roaring crowds and that booming cinematic percussion, the script calls for a bold text overlay. One game, one dream, one world. It's such a vital structural element of the script. This simple three-part phrase completely crystallizes the unifying theme of the entire source text. It distills all the sprawling global celebrations, the diverse footballers, and the painted faces into one singular, incredibly powerful message of human unity. And now we reach the absolute emotional peak of our explainer. The script's final visual direction is highly, highly intentional. After all that frantic action, the bicycle kicks, and the chaotic global street parties, all the visual noise just strips away to reveal the ultimate prize. The text dictates a slow-motion reveal of the golden trophy shining under the dramatic stadium lighting while the crowd roars in the background. It is just the perfect, glittering resolution to all the tension that was built up throughout the montage. And to wrap it all up, the text dictates that the entire montage must end on these exact words: "The world stops, football begins." What an unforgettable final script overlay. When delivered with heavy impact, it represents the ultimate culmination of the director's vision as outlined in the text. It leaves you with this profound sense of the event's magnitude, a sporting event so significant it feels like it literally halts the rotation of daily global life. We've seen exactly how this written blueprint uses lighting, pacing, sound, and cause and effect storytelling to literally manufacture an epic emotional experience. Now, I want to turn it over to you. Looking at these cinematic rules, if you were stepping into the director's chair right now to apply this exact script, what unforgettable historic moment would you feature to unite the world? Think about it and take these storytelling tools with you. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.